Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Camden and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview ahead of our Premier League fixture tomorrow on New Year's Day against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. Away from home, of course, a massive game for Carlo Ancelotti and a massive game for the Everton players. A tough fixture as well. Obviously Manchester City currently sitting third in the Premier League. They've won 13, drawn 2 and lost 5. I'll probably say on behalf of a lot of Evertonians would have liked them to have been a little bit higher in the league, considering who is higher in the league. But they are where they are. They're third in the league, but they're still a very good team. Carlo Ancelotti's had his pre-game press conference today. He's praised how good Manchester City are. He's praised how good Pep Guardiola is as well, and he said that although they haven't been at the level that they've been in previous seasons, they're still a very good team, and they're not a team to to sleep on, and they're not a team to go to and think that you're gonna win. But however, there are positives going into this game. Obviously Everton coming off the back of 2 really good wins, one against Burnley on Boxing Day and one against Newcastle last weekend. And we're coming into this game, I think, with a little quiet confidence. I'd say I said it at the end of in the game review to the Newcastle game. I am quietly confident going into this game, because if you'd have asked me 2 or 3 months ago whether I'd be confident going in to play Manchester City at the Etihad, I'd have said no, because they were in relatively good form. They'd only lost a couple this season. They were starting to claw some form back, and we were in absolutely shocking form, obviously under Marco Silva. We were being beaten by sides that were coming to Goodison Park that had no right to win. So I'd have absolutely no confidence. But obviously under the new manager, we've had 2 really good wins, 2 really good displays, 2 really good performances, and obviously the one against Newcastle showing a real good man management from Carlo Ancelotti, obviously, to change that game around in the second half, knowing full well that we went into the second half after a poor final 20 minutes of the first half, and he needs to change it around. He needs to speak to the players, and he needed to convey the message that they need to calm down, play the game at our pace and go and get the win, and that's exactly what they've done. Obviously it's going to be massively difficult against Manchester City, and I dare say it's going to be harder than it was against Newcastle. However, like I said, the Manchester City's recent results and recent performances have given me a little bit of confidence going into this game. I watched them play Wolves last week, and they absolutely capitulated. They absolutely fell to bits, and you look at some of the defensive displays from Manchester City this season, and you do have to sort of think, you know what, we could get through here. We could put the ball in the back of the net a couple of times against these. Obviously, our main sort of, I wouldn't say concern, but our main thing to think about is defensively. They've still got some absolutely fantastic players going forward. The likes, obviously, of Kevin De Bruyne, the likes of Gabriel Jesus, Sergio Aguero, who scored as well, I believe, at the weekend. So he's coming back into form. Really good player, really good goal he scored at the weekend as well. So that, going forward, they've got as much quality as they did when they won the league with over 100 points, as much quality as they did when they won the league last season. They're an absolutely unbelievable side in terms of the playing staff that they've got, especially the playing staff going forward. However, defensively they have been shaky this season. You seen Wolves' goal last week, Adama Traore literally bullying Benjamin Mendy off the ball to set up the third goal, and Wolves coming back and winning 3-2 and so I think when you look at games like that, when you look at performances like that, the one earlier on in the season when they played Norwich, you do have a little bit of confidence, especially given that we've got a manager like Carlo Ancelotti now who is a serial winner, who is used to going to ground like the Etihad Stadium and playing top teams and beating top teams as well. Like I said, it's a lot more, giving us a lot more confidence than what we'd have if we were going in with a manager like Marco Silva, who hasn't got that experience and who hasn't got that feeling of going to a ground like the Etihad and winning. However, Carlo Ancelotti obviously has managed in many a big game in his time, so he understands the pressure and he understands what we need to do to go out and get a result tomorrow night, and it'll be really interesting to see if we can go out and get a result. Obviously Ederson still suspended due to his red card. I believe he's got a 3-game ban, so he won't be in goal. It'll be Claudio Bravo, who I personally think is let's just say poor, to be nice to him. So again, it's looking positive for Everton when you look at City's defence and you look at the recent games and you look at the recent goals they've been conceding and the way that they've been being beaten and conceding goals, and the goalkeeper situation as well. And there's positives definitely going there. Like I said before, we have to maintain strong defensively and we have to maintain compact defensively, because this Manchester City team, going from the half line into our half can beat any team on the day and can absolutely destroy any team on the day. So I think it could very well be a high scoring game, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a New Year's Day game, so notoriously they're 1-0s or 0-0s or 2-1s or something like that, but it could potentially be a high scoring game. with the attack of Manchester City. And like I said, our attack currently on really, really good form. Dominic Calvert-Lewin on absolutely fantastic form. And Manchester City's defence not on the best of form. I think, we could definitely penetrate their defence, but like I said, it's about us keeping a tight defence, and I assume that's what Carlo Ancelotti will be telling the lads. Obviously, he come out after the Newcastle game and he said defensively, we were good. Going forward, we were really, really good, and he said after the Burnley game as well, defensively we seemed okay. It's just going forward that we need to work on. So hopefully we can stay defensively strong and compact again and make the most of the opportunities that I honestly think we'll get tomorrow. I honestly think we will get a fair few opportunities when we're coming up against a Manchester City defence that are low on confidence and that have made mistakes constantly throughout the weeks. Obviously, we'll go through my predicted starting 11 in just a second. Carlo Ancelotti said as well in today's press conference that he doesn't see the need for massive changes. However, there's almost a need for small changes here and there. We play a lot of football in such a short period of time, so there's almost definitely going to be a couple of changes here and there pretty much for every game because of how many games we're playing. However, he said there's not going to be any drastic changes. So I've made a couple of changes from the side, obviously, that started and beat Newcastle last weekend. Manchester City obviously losing assistant manager Mikel Arteta a couple of weeks ago. He joined Arsenal to become their first team manager. Now, although they've only had to deal, without Arteta for a couple of games, and in those couple of games, obviously one of them being beaten by Wolves and one of them beating Sheffield United, you can say that it probably hasn't had that much of an impact yet, or at least you can't tell which impact it's had. But coming first hand from obviously Evertonians and Everton fans who witnessed how Marco Silva's Everton career absolutely spiralled out of control once he lost his assistant manager, obviously, who left to join a Portuguese club, I believe it was, and managed them as first team. He brought in Luis Boamorte, who just didn't work whatsoever, and that's when his career started to spiral out of control. So maybe Manchester City and Pep Guardiola will be looking at that and making sure that a similar situation doesn't happen to them. Anyway, getting back into the predicted starting 11, we may as well go straight into it before I get involved with the live comments. Pickford says, what am I talking about? I've gone for Jordan Pickford in goal. Thought, like I said in the game review yesterday to the Newcastle game, I thought he was absolutely fantastic against Newcastle. Really calm, collected, mature performance. Kept his head in a game that I think a lot of Evertonians were a little bit worried that he might let his head go and he might let the crowd affect him like he has done in previous years, but he didn't. He kept his head. He was very, very confident. He was very calm. He was very mature and he put in a good performance. Gone for Luca Dean at left back. When you think of a strongest Everton 11, Leighton Baines has done absolutely unbelievable to step into the team recently, 35 years old, and he's still running around like he's one of the best left backs on the planet. So cool, so collected, such a fantastic professional, such a fantastic footballer. But when you look at, like I said, the side that we're coming up against, the pace that Manchester City have and the ability of their attacking players, I think we have to go for our strongest sort of back line, and for me, Luca Dean is in there. I've gone for Mason Hoggies and Yerry Mina at centre half. No real argument there. Again, said it after the Newcastle game, Michael Keane just isn't in good enough form at the minute to be playing in games like this, whereas Mason Holgate is in absolutely excellent form, and so is Yerry Mina. And I've gone for Seamus Coleman at right back. Now, ordinarily, I'd have probably put Sadiba at right back. Well, I'd definitely put Sadiba at right back, but Carlo Ancelotti obviously tried something new against Burnley on Boxing Day. He put Seamus Coleman at right back and Sadiba a little bit further forward for his crossing ability and for his attacking ability, and it worked an absolute treat. He reverted back to having Sadiba at right back at the weekend, and I think that was probably to give Seamus Coleman a little bit of a rest, because whether Seamus can play 3 games in a week's time, I don't know, especially considering he's still suffering from a rib injury. He's not long come off having to have injections to play games of football. In fact, he still might be having to have injections to play games of football. But I was really, really impressed by that right hand side against Burnley on Boxing Day. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Seamus Coleman defensively was brilliant as per usual, putting in a real strong defensive performance, and I think he had a little bit more confidence and he had a little bit more about him playing, at right back against Burnley, because he knew that it was almost he had that responsibility of having to break forward and having to create going forward, taking off him, because he had Jabril Sadiba in front of him, who he knew he could rely on defensively if Seamus himself did break forward, but he also knew, okay, there's not that much pressure on me going forward here, because the fella in front of me is also an attacking minded right back who's going to break forward himself, and that's his main job. So Seamus merely had to focus on his defensive duties against Burnley, and I think he done them absolutely fantastically. Jabril Sadiba obviously on the right hand side, right midfield, right wing, whatever you want to call it, was absolutely unbelievable, putting in the cross to ultimately get the winner for Dominic Calvert-Lewin in that game. And he's been fantastic this season, hasn't he? Let's be perfectly honest. And when Carlo Ancelotti comes out in his pre-game press conferences and he said there's going to be little changes here and there, I don't think anybody expected Jibril Sidibe and Seamus Coleman to be in the same Everton team on Boxing Day. However, they were put in there and they worked an absolute treat. And like I said, Jibril Sidibe has been unbelievable this season. Pretty much every single game he's played. I think he's had one poor game for us, but every other game he's been fantastic at right back and at right wing. And if Jibril Sidibe can play consistently every single week, multiple times a week, then for me, I would like to see him on the right-hand side of the midfield if Seamus Coleman's available to play. And then if Seamus Coleman has to come out through fitness issues or stamina issues, whatever, then Sidibe drops back in to the right-back position. But I think that, looking at the performance of Theo Walcott against Newcastle at the weekend, didn't really do an awful lot. He had an opportunity that I really think he should do a lot better with. But, for me, I think Seamus would step back into that, right-back position with the view that Jibril Sidibe is at the right of midfield. I've gone for a midfield two of Fabian Delph and Gylfi Sigurdsson. Again, we're having the same conversation pretty much on every single game preview, aren't we? That, there's not many options to choose from here. Carlo Ancelotti spoke about Morgan Schneiderlin today in his pre-game press conference. He said that Morgan Schneiderlin is back in training and he's trained today, and they're hoping that he'll be fit for the Merseyside derby on Sunday. However, he's not in contention for tomorrow's game. So when you look at that, you've literally got to pick between Gylfi Sigurdsson, Tom Davies and Fabian Delph. Tom Davies obviously starting against Newcastle. Very, very solid game. But again, I think Tom Davies is one of those players that Carlo Ancelotti will be looking at very, very carefully, and will be one of those players that's in and out this Carlo Ancelotti side, especially during this mad, December and Christmas period where we're playing a stupid amount of games. And, Tom Davies will start to get some consistency when it settles down a little bit. So I've gone for Gylfi Sigurdsson and Fabian Delph in the midfield. Delph obviously bringing that experience, knows Manchester City inside and out, only left them in the summer. He'd been there for years, won Premier Leagues with them. So I think if anybody's going to know how to control and how to deal with the midfield in this game, it would be Fabian Delph. I've gone for Sigurdsson next to him. You could argue that, Tom Davies maybe should be next to him. Again, don't get me wrong, I think Gylfi Sigurdsson's been poor this season and I haven't been impressed with his performances whatsoever. However, I think, in terms of having to control the midfield and being able to break through a Manchester City defence that has been inconsistent this season and has been poor at times this season, I think we're more likely to do that with Gylfi Sigurdsson than Tom Davies. Tom Davies will provide the legs that I think we might so desperately need in the last 20 minutes to half an hour of this game. If players are starting to tire, if Manchester City is starting to get on top of us, I think Tom Davies is an absolutely fantastic player to bring on because, like I said, he provides those legs, he sits in that midfield and he does the hard work. Before I get into the other four players, I'm just going to tweet today's team out. If you're not enjoying, by the way, please do hit that like button. It means a massive amount to me. Happy New Year's Eve, by the way. If you're going out tonight, please do stay safe. I'm well aware that it can be a little bit dangerous going out on New Year's Eve, so if you are going out tonight, please do stay safe. Let's get the team shared as well to as many people as we possibly can. Get it shared all over your social medias and Twitters and Facebooks and all that. I'm going to tweet the team out so everybody on our Twitter knows that we are live, and then we'll go into talking about the rest of the starting 11, and then I'll dive into the live comments. So, in terms of wingers, obviously I just mentioned there, Jibril Sidibe for me plays on the right. Thought he was fantastic against Burnley, obviously. I thought he was fantastic against Newcastle, to be honest with you, although he was playing at right back. And I think he deserves another opportunity going forward. I think he provides, I know he provides multiple crosses every single game. And to have somebody like Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the centre forward position up front, a player that thrives on winning headers, scoring headers, getting the ball, and using his physical ability and height, I think Jibril Sidibe is almost the perfect player to have on the wing for him. He's constantly putting in really, really good crosses, and for me, Jibril Sidibe deserves another start on the right-hand side of midfield. For the left-hand side, I've gone with Richarlison. Again, is there any much you need to say about it, really? I haven't gone with Richarlison, sorry. I've gone with Bernard. I think Bernard, again, missed out on the game against Newcastle. Moise Keane coming in, played in, for about 50 minutes, 60 minutes against Burnley. Didn't really do an awful lot, but granted, he is coming back from injury. He's only just coming back. He's been out since October time. So I think Bernard, again, is a player that just needs a little bit of a run in the team and just needs a little bit of consistency. And he was absolutely fantastic before, he got injured. He was absolutely fantastic before, he picked up that injury. So I think Bernard, again, a player with a lot of pace, player with a lot of energy, and a player that will cause Manchester City's defence problems all day. And the two up front, I've gone with Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as per usual. Listen, it's self-explanatory now, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, another unbelievable performance on the weekend against Newcastle. 2 really, really good goals, and an absolutely fantastic performance again. Same against Burnley. Richarlison again absolutely working his arse off from minute 1 to minute 90, despite the fact that he wasn't directly involved in a goal. His work rate is absolutely second to none, and his defensive work is also unbelievable as well. So Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin start up front for me, and I think when you look at that front four, Djibril Sidibe, Bernard, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, I think that's a front four that really, really could cause Manchester City's defence issues, and that's what we're going to need to look for, really. Like I mentioned before, conceding 3 goals against Wolves, losing twice to Wolves this season, losing to Norwich at home. It's been proven that Manchester City is a side that you can get into and you can score goals against. Now, for me, our biggest achievement tomorrow night will be if we don't concede, which I think we'll do absolutely fantastically to not concede. But like I said, I think we've got a very good chance going forward to put the ball in the back of the net. They've got a goalkeeper in there that I really don't rate whatsoever, and they've got a defence in there that are real shaky at best. Obviously losing the likes of Aymeric Laporte, who was an absolutely fantastic player. Benjamin Mendy, who's proved he's partial to a mistake. Kyle Walker, who's proved time and time again he's partial to a mistake as well. And I think if you've got somebody like Djibril Sidibe on one wing, who's putting in constant crosses consistently, to a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's using his height, using his aerial ability, and you've got somebody on the other wing like Bernard, who's using his quick feet, getting in the ball, getting past players, and then you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up front, who we know how good they've been this season, especially since Carlo Ancelotti has come in as well. So that's my predicted starting 11. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. If you're watching live, let me know in the live comments as per usual and go through them. Let's get into the live comments now. Before we start the team, Evertonian TV says, hello mate, I'm confident going to Manchester City than I was going to Newcastle. I'm more confident. Fair enough. And Jack says, need to take this game very seriously. I agree. Jack says, Pickford, Dean, Holgate, Mina, Sidibe, Davis, Delph, Iwobi, Richarlison, Keane and DCL. I think Iwobi's still injured. But other than that, not a bad team. And Jack says, we are on our day one of the only teams to beat City at the Etihad. We are on our day one of the only teams to beat City at the Etihad. Evertonian TV, Everton FC is the best. Sorry, says, yes there is. Yes there, Cam. Yes mate, I'll be doing well. God says, hey Cam, the DCL is close to signing a contract extension. Yes, the Telegraph are reporting that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is very close to signing a contract extension that could boost his wage between the £70,000 to £75,000 a week mark, which is an absolutely massive boost. It's really good news, especially after some of the paper talk today linking him with a £50 million move to Manchester United, which I think is just absolute bollocks, to be honest with you. Just as bollocks as the Richarlison link to Manchester United was yesterday. So obviously it's really good news that there's some positive coming out of that, and that Dominic Calvert-Lewin looks like he'll sign a new contract extension with Everton. Jack says, City 0, Everton 1. I hope so, mate. Evertonian TV says, you look nice and fresh, Cam. I don't know how. I need to, I still need to go. I'm going out tonight for New Year's Eve to have a couple of nice drinks, let's say. And I haven't got ready yet, so I'm not too sure how, but thank you very much. And he also said, who disliked this video already, little cop-outs? Yeah, please give the video a like. I can't see the dislikes, I can only see the likes, so if it has got a dislike or a couple, please do give the video a like if you haven't already. It really does mean a massive amount to me. Evertonian TV says, is Delph fit? I'm assuming so. Obviously, played against Burnley. Yes, he went off. Obviously, for Mason Holgate to step in under Duncan Ferguson, but I'm assuming so. Other than if it's not Delph, it'll be Tom Davis, of course. David says yes, yeah, I assume so. Evertonian TV says not Evertonian TV, a totally different person. Everton FC is the best. Says Sigurdsson, I'm not sure about him. For City, we need pace, but we haven't really got much pace in the midfield in terms of those that are available. Jack says, if Ederson can play versus otherwise we'll be. I don't think he can play. I think he's still suspended. Obviously, he hasn't served his 3-game ban yet. David says, Delph and Sigurdsson are too slow for City's midfield. Holgate and Davis will make a better chance. Potentially, but then we'd have to put Michael Keane at the centre of the defence, and I'm really not confident in doing that. Jack says, able to score 4 or 5 against Bravo. I don't rate Bravo at all. Evertonian TV says, I reckon this game's a definite win or a draw. I hope so, mate, I hope so. Mitchell says, will you do a team of the decade, Cam? Yes, the video given my team of the decade and my goal of the decade as well is going up at 5 PM today, so in around an hour and 40 minutes. That'll be live on the channel. It's just a video, so make sure you check that out if you get a minute. Lead your teams of the decades and goal of the decades in the comment section of that video as well, and I'll be having a little look at them obviously throughout the next couple of days. Everton FC is the best, says, yeah, I agree, David, on midfield looks awful considering we're playing with a team with so much pace. I reckon Everton will be stupid enough to sell DCL to United if they offer the right amount of money. I don't think he's going at all, mate. Steve says, still can't believe Carlo is our manager. I feel optimistic for the first time in years. Spot on, me too, Steve. David says, if he wins the derby, I'll get excited. Yeah, I think we all will, David. Everton FC is the best, says we're probably going to lose. Steve says, already New Year in Oz, all the best. Cam, come on, you Blues. Happy New Year to you too, mate, and Happy New Year to anybody that's watching from Australia. All the best to you as well, Steve. David says, how old are you, Everton? He says, sorry, that's wrong, mate. Just to clear, I'm 13 as well. And what are you doing for New Year? Like I said, I'm going out for a couple of pints. Hernandez says, Happy New Year from the USA to all. Toffee, still can't believe I'll be at Goodison for the first time for the Brighton match in a week's time. What's your favourite restaurant in Liverpool? Like I said, drop us a DM and I might be able to come and have a swift pint with you. Hopefully it will be. In terms of favourite restaurants, The Alchemist's nice. It's like a bar-slash restaurant. I like Chai, which is a Chinese restaurant. I'm not going to lie, I really, really do like it. There's multiple of them as well. Everton FC is the best, is the Winey. David says McDonald's. Everton FC, KFC for life. God said, you see Baines retiring at Everton or going somewhere like the MLS? I see him retiring at Everton, if I'm being perfectly honest now. I did see him going to the MLS a couple of years ago, but now I see him retiring. Michael says, seen the talk of James Rodriguez potentially signing? Yes, I have. Again, it's interesting. I'm not trying to get too excited about it in the same way as that I'm not paying too much attention to the Calvert-Lewin talk and the Richarlison talk and the linking those two to move to Manchester United, because I think it's only fair that if we're going to sit here and say, there's absolutely no chance Calvert-Lewin's going to Manchester United, there's no chance Richarlison's going to Manchester United. I think we only treat the James Rodriguez and the Insigne rumours with the same sort of energy as that, it'd be fantastic if it happens, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But I have seen it, yeah. And Ananda says, I don't like both those restaurants in the US, can't imagine it's any better than England. Chefton says hi, and David says just as bad. Hernandez. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, it's going to be a tough game for us tomorrow night. Obviously, despite the fact that Manchester City mightn't be in the best run of form, despite the fact that they might have recently lost against Wolverhampton Wanderers, despite the fact that they're making defensive mistakes and they're quite noticeably behind Liverpool, at the higher ends of the league. They're still a real tough side to play, especially at the Etihad, especially away from home. It's a tough ground to go to. It's a notorious tough fixture. And like I said, even when Manchester City aren't on their best form, even when Manchester City are quote-unquote struggling in the league, they've still got an unbelievable strike force. They've still got a fantastic midfield. Player like Kevin De Bruyne. We can't afford to go into this game thinking, right, we could potentially win this because City are, not on the best of form, and then fall asleep. Because the moment you fall asleep against a side with players of the quality of Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Aguero, Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling, you will lose that game because those players will capitalise on that, and those players will, will put the ball in the back of the net. If we go into it and we maintain our focus and we maintain our confidence and we maintain, the way and the style that we've been playing over the last couple of games, then I definitely think we can get something out of this game, because going forward, like I said, I think we can punish Manchester City's defence. I really do. And I think, like I said, they've shown in recent weeks that they do make mistakes, and, mistakes that we could capitalise on. However, for me, the real big thing to look out for is the defensive work in this game. We're going to have to be clued on. We're going to have to be concentrating for, every single second of the game, because the moment you switch off in a game against Manchester City, the moment Kevin De Bruyne puts a 40-yard pass and all of a sudden you're 1-0 down, and then the pressure's all on you, and then it all goes against you then. So listen, for me, like I said, it's going to be a tough game, but I'm a lot more confident going into it than I was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that is both because obviously the change of manager, in terms of Everton, bringing in Carlo Ancelotti, the recent results as well that we've had, the recent performances as well, the results in the performance against Newcastle, but also because of Manchester City's recent performances, they haven't been as good as what they would expect. However, like I said, still not a game that you can go into thinking, we're definitely going to win this. It's a game that we could potentially win. I think a lot of Evertonians would be happy with a point, but like I said, we have to go out and we have to focus, we have to remain focused, and we have to be defensively strong, because City are a good team. And again, it's another game for Carlo Ancelotti to go out there and prove this is how you manage a game of football against the top side. He's managed many of them before, many a games against champions, many a games against top sides. He's been a champion himself, so it's about, this is Carlo Ancelotti's time to go out there and show how he can manage this Everton team to go and get something at the Etihad tomorrow night. Like I said, and the title is the first big test for Carlo Ancelotti. Obviously his previous 2 games, really tough game against Burnley. However, realistically a game that we should be winning, and we did. And again against Newcastle, a tough game against the Newcastle side that have only lost once this season before. Everton obviously played them last weekend. However, again, still a team that you don't look at the start of the season and think that they're going to cause us real issues. However, this Manchester City team are a team that will cause us real issues. We need to be able to soak that up, and we need to be able to hit them on the break and put the ball in the back of the net. Where are we in the live comments? Let's get back into them. 53.4388N29663W Goodison Park says, love the channel. Can you make a best of the decade video? Yeah, it'll be going up at 5 p.m. today, so in about an hour and a half's time, the best of the decade, my personal best of the decade video will be going out, as well as my goal of the decade, so look out for that one. Watch it if you've got a spare. I think it's 17 minutes long, and leave your best teams of the decade in the comment section of that video, as well as goals of the decades, and I'll be getting involved with as many of them as possible as well. Chevton says, could we get 5th in the league? Because looking at the table, it's not impossible. We definitely could, but we need to keep up that consistency. Everton FC is the best says, did you see that shit show of a game, Liverpool versus Wolves? Yeah, it's a joke, mate. It's a joke, isn't it? I'm just going to say Goodison Park. Goodison Park says, make a best of the Everton team decade. Yeah, it's going out today, like I said. He says, what do you think of Toffee TV? I think the lad's a boss. I absolutely love them. He also says, love your channel, thank you very much, really do appreciate that. Chevton says, Toffee TV are pretty good, I agree. Goodison Park says, come on you Blues, Moise Keane to start. I would do it, potentially. However, I do think Moise Keane's going to be one of the players that Carlo Ancelotti maybe changes around and brings on as maybe an impact substitution in this game. Abigail says, here's a question, would anyone have Fellaini back if he was available? Not too sure. I haven't seen him play for an awful long time. Obviously, he's gone over to China. It will be a risk because, you know, we don't know how he's aged and we don't know how, you know, well he'd fit into this squad. Fellaini at Everton was a fantastic player. You'll see, you know, how much I appreciated Fellaini at Everton at 5 o'clock. But I just don't know whether he'd suit us at this time. Goodison Park says he will get so much confidence. Everton FC is the best at Everton. How can you support two Premier League teams? David says 5th is a big ask. We'd need to win around 13 or 14 of our remaining games. We would. Chevton says, I like Everton, my lad likes Chelsea. Fair enough. Chevton says, I'm American, so I like Pulisic. Fair point. Goodison Park says, love the channel, especially when we win. Thank you very much, really do appreciate the support. Kate says, come on Blue Boys, let's give them a game and fight for every ball. Spot on, Kate, spot on. Towel says, well done for your achievements with the channel this year. Love the channel and hope you keep it going. It's really good, all the best. Thank you very much, Savils. Really do appreciate that. I'll be keeping the channel going throughout next year, the year after that, the year after that. We ain't stopping at any point soon, so thank you very much for your support. Everton FC is the best says, that Ancelotti chance is amazing, isn't it? Did you go to the away game as well as home? I didn't, but yeah, the chance is absolutely amazing. Evertonian TV says, Happy New Year to you too, mate. Jack says, I would sell Keane and Snad. I probably would as well if we can bring in replacements for them that, you know, are better and would benefit the side more. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. I really do appreciate all of the support. If you're new to the channel as well, please do subscribe. Like I said, if you're going out tonight to enjoy your new year, then do exactly that. Enjoy it, but please do stay safe because it can be a dangerous time of the year. But go out, enjoy yourself, drink responsibly if you're going out drinking, and I wish you all the very best for 2020. I hope you've had a good 2019. If you haven't, let's look forward and let's be positive going into the new year, the new decade of course, and hopefully a real positive decade for Everton. After a decade of change and ups and downs, I'd say, in the tens for Everton Football Club, let's hope this decade is a decade of success and victory and overall joyous emotion. Let's hope it is. Anyway, like I said, look out for that team of the decade video. It'll be going out at 5 p.m. today. It'll have my team of the decade as well as my goal of the decade, so look out for that one and give it a little watch if you have time. It's only around 20 minutes long. Big thanks to everybody for watching. Really do appreciate it. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed today and leave a subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll be back obviously tomorrow with the instant match reaction to the Manchester City game. Hopefully it's a positive one and hopefully we're coming away with another big away win. Abigail says, who would you like to have in our centre midfield? I'd absolutely love to have Trash Mertens, to be honest with you, but you know, it's not going to happen. In terms of the players we've got now, Gomez and Gabam, I'd love to see together. Goodison Park says, live in Hong Kong. Very nice. Carl says, hello, Carl, hope you're doing well. Goodison Park says, Happy New Year to you too, mate. Everton FC is the best, says, no one noticed this really, but Gabam is supposed to be coming back on January, so less than a month now. January, February, March time. It'll be any time within the first 3 months of the year, I assume. Goodison Park says, that's great news. Andre Gomez. David says, not confirmed, mate. Yes, it's not confirmed. And Evertonian TV, FC is the best, says he is a belter. He certainly is a belter. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Please do hit that like button if you have enjoyed the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. I'll see you in 2020 in the new year. Look out for that video at 5 p.m. today, the best team of the decade. Give it a watch if you can, if you've got the time, and leave your best teams in the comment section down below. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Big thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you have enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.